What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zebec today, ZBCN. It is the 14th day of April. Here we are sitting at about $0.0026 with roughly 10 hours and 12 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. I'm a little bit concerned with Zebec, just a little bit, not a whole lot. Okay, we're still in this range. We're still, even looking like we want to break out to the upside. But the reason why I'm concerned is that Bitcoin today and yesterday has had quite a time to the upside. It's had quite a time. And in this range where we've done nothing but move sideways, if Bitcoin's having quite a time here and we're at the upper ends of this range, the shoe's about to drop to the downside, the time is running out, the clock is running out, I think, for Zebec to move up. Because what I don't expect to happen, at least at this point in time, is that Zebec will move down. Right? I do expect that we're going to move up. But that expectation can change. Oops. If Bitcoin tops off and moves down. Because what I also don't expect to happen is that Bitcoin drops, and as Bitcoin's dropping, Zebec is pumping. That's also what I don't expect to happen. Now let's just see here. 25th of March. Like over here, this was a pump from the 19th, 18th. What was Bitcoin doing on the 19th and 18th? Well, to be fair, actually, and this is a direct contradiction of what I just said, Bitcoin was dropping here, and that was at the same time that Zebec was pumping here. So it can happen. It can happen. It's just not in my wheelhouse of expectations, but maybe that should be what our expectations are. I'm kind of curious with that discovery. Let's just look at this real quick. The Zebecians. Shout out to the Zebecians. We're going to look at the others chart here. And then maybe I can overlay the Zebec chart as well with the others chart. Let's see, others, new price scale, and we'll do Zebec as well. ZBCN, USD, where's Bybit? There we go. New price scale. Okay. Okay, so this is obviously Bitcoin, the candlesticks. Zebec is the green. The others chart is the blue. I'm just going to make Bitcoin here smaller so we can see it up here. We're going to shave down the others chart and put that right there. And the Zebec chart we can put right here as well. Maybe below up the Bitcoin chart. Okay, so here Zebec was pumping, altcoins were dumping on average. Okay, Bitcoin was dumping as well, and that makes sense. If Bitcoin's dumping, altcoins probably dump. You saw a little bit of a pump here, a little bit of consolidation. Zebec actually started to move up well before Bitcoin did. It was just like rounding out its bottom where Zebec's already moving up, and altcoins hadn't moved yet. Okay, Zebec's kind of going, it's doing its own thing. More or less the same shape overall. You can definitely see it, but okay, it's kind of doing its own thing. Maybe it continues to do its own thing. Something to consider. Looking at this on the daily time frame, here we are at about 0.0026. I'd like to get into the short-term stuff, and just with this premise that we've got here addressed, let's carry that on in our analysis here. The 1 hour time frame. You did drop through the floor a little bit here and then ate it back up. That's awesome. That's a nice little fake out kind of maneuver, maybe to cause some panic selling or something like that. Likely going to move higher would be my expectation. Looking at the 1 hour RSI, we're at the 50. It's a good area to bounce. We'd like to see this 1 hour close green. If it closes green, you prevail with this bounce off the 50 level. If it closes red like this, it looks like you're coming back down. I still think you look fine. Overall, it truly is a neutral RSI, and that makes sense. The price action is pretty neutral as well. The stochastics, if we were to close this green in the next 8 minutes, the stochastics would also probably shape up a little bit, and this is a good area to shape up from as well. The MACD is bullish overall. I don't know how much that means because it's on the 1 hour time frame and we're choppy and sideways, but it is bullish right now. Even though we're crossed red, it still is bullish. We could have a false cross here, false cross to the upside, and that promoted selling pressure. False cross to the downside would likely promote buying pressure, and the candlestick itself does suggest that we'd continue to move higher. The last time that I can see that we had a candle like this, if we were to close here in the next 8 minutes, that was over here, and we did move higher for a moment. Then we moved lower inevitably, but still, that's not the point. 4 hour time frame. Looking at this here, the RSI, we do have highs here, 1, 2, 3 highs in a row there at this level. This one seems a little bit different, but more or less the same at the moment, right? Resistance here, even resistance like this. Here we kind of dabbled a little bit if we can come back up, to this area again, just showing the difference in behavior compared to these last points of resistance, that difference in behavior might be the signal we need to see the overbought zone. And if and when Zebec gets overbought on the 4-hour time frame, that should correlate directly with a breakout to the upside. And I personally do believe that's what you're going to see. We should, being that this is on the 4-hour time frame, we should see that happen this week, right? It's Tuesday, so I mean, by the end of the day, going into tomorrow or the next day, we should be breaking out to the upside. If we don't, then I might, if we're still here or lower by Thursday, I might be a little bit skeptical of any pump. It's not that it has to move right now, but we're getting close to that statement. Stochastics at the overbought zone, rejecting a little bit, but that's okay. Sometimes, sometimes you get a little fuzzy, and then that's right before the big run, right? Here, imagine if we got bearish right here just because you rejected the overbought zone a little bit. That was a horrible time to get bearish. You just pumped, right? Same thing back here. Imagine that you got bearish right here whenever you started to reject the overbought zone. I mean, that was right before you pumped. So this kind of stuff is actually normal for Zebec. The 4-hour MACD is definitely not going to help us. That's probably why the stochastics are also going to give us like weird readings like this, because when you move sideways like this, you're not going to get too much help. What I can say on the 4-hour MACD is that we are dying off on our bearish momentum, and we are, in my opinion, looking like we want to find support at the 0, which you've done once, twice, 3 times now. And typically by now you'd break out lower. You'd either hold this as support or you wouldn't. And you're at the point where the wouldn't option would come in, where you would expect to go lower and you're just not doing it. Anytime the average expectation or the statistical probability shifts to the downside and you just don't see the downside, that's a bullish sign, my friends. It's a very bullish sign. So we should see some upside price action here pretty soon. 1-hour time frame still red, 5 minutes left. If we look at this on the daily time frame, getting a phone call. I don't know if I should answer the phone call though. Daily time frame here, the RSI is shifted upwards, higher lows. We do have lower highs right here, but higher lows overall. Getting back into the overbought zone, or at least contesting it, at least finding resistance there, could be enough to get us above these highs. I'm personally expecting that we will see something around 0031 to 0035, something in this zone. But it is possible that we see a lower high. It is possible, that we get a little fake out to the upside and then we dump. So watch for that. Be very attentive to that. It's also possible that we get a slightly higher high and we fake out that way as well. And even then, that's right around 003 if we got a slightly higher high than this. So nothing's promised. But I would say, anytime that we're above this high here, it's probably a good time to take short-term profits if you haven't already. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. If you disagree, if you think we're going to go through the roof, do you. And at the end of the day, if you believe in the long term with Zebec, it doesn't matter if it does this and then does that, because in the long term it'll come back up and it'll be worth multiple dollars at some point, right? Or let me think. Will it be worth multiple dollars? I mean, probably. What's the market cap? Let me see. Hold on, before I start saying things. Not ABCN, ZBC. Why do I keep typing A? There we go. My pinky was on the A key instead of the Z key. 261 million, 100x would be 26 billion. Yeah, you could absolutely see a multi-dollar price with Zebec in time, if it becomes all that it can be, right? If it becomes one of the more dominant cryptos in the space, or even just a fad, if it becomes like a Pengu or a Hyperliquid, or let alone a Solana, if it comes out like a Pepe or a an AVAX and Aave. What else? My daughter's opening up the door because I don't want to say why, because that could actually give things away, but she's funny. Anyways, I do think we're moving up. Nothing's changed really. The expectations remain the same. I hope I've given you guys some things to think about. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.